I think one of the things that we can slip into real quick on that is looking at other people and saying I can still see pride in this person. They must not be a Christian. But God might be working on a different area of them, and he'll get to the pride later. And just like you work with me on pride first, and we'll get to the other stuff later.
But we do. We always compare ourselves. Well, I'm not as bad as that guy.
Yeah.
Go the other way of, I'm just so much better than that person. Yeah, I see that oftentimes that we can have a lot of pride in our lives, and not just sin. Just I'm better than that person.
Why can't they be as humble as I am?
I had
I dig that.
You still going to New York?
New York?
Soon.
No, I got canceled. Way too expensive. I tell you what, you getting to Ithaca, New York, man. I mean,
There's a lot of side roads, isn't it?
well, I could drive it, but if we're going to drive it up for 3 days, I'm not driving it. So we'd fly it, and then
it's a lot of changing flights.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I can fly directly from Raleigh, I believe, to Buffalo or to Syracuse. Then you got to drive into Ithaca. So
Does it have an interstate?
no, yeah, there's roads that you can go between. But now the thing of it is flying out of Ithaca, there is not much. I don't know why he always picks universities that have
How far is
rinky-dink airports.
from the city?
Madison's was what?
How far is it from the city?
From New York City?
It's
About
real
3.5, 4 hours upstate. Beautiful area, but 3.5.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, sometimes he has to go to the city because they've got some partnerships with some of the hospitals.
Yeah.
And but they've got a bus that runs between, so he just rides the bus.
I guess every city's got a bus in New York. I mean,
Especially like
Philadelphia
Ithaca.
from DC, yeah.
And it may even be like one of the schools' buses.
We left yesterday. It was just getting too rainy, but it was nice weather. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nobody. That's a good thing. When there's a hurricane out on the coast, people don't know the geography, and it's usually the beach is very few people come.
Yeah.
Mostly if it's a far drive.
Yeah.
Like Hatteras Island, you would have nobody if there's a hurricane. I guess because people don't know the geography or where it's at, because they're always saying 650 miles south of Hatteras Island. That's just a point.
Yeah.
And it's not even probably going that way, but they think it's going to be there in a day.
Yeah.
It'll be a week.
Yeah.
And so
650 miles, they don't go, but those things don't travel usually about 20, 30 miles an hour. They're not fast
It's a
moving.
long way to go.
well, they
takes a
have
long
long
time.
travel against the speed of the earth too. As the earth turns, that's why your back winds are so much faster than your front winds. Your front winds are hitting the rotation of the earth, as the back winds are with it, and so it's usually 20 miles different, 10 to 20 miles
It's
different.
not just wind.
Do what?
It's not just wind.
Yeah, I mean, when they say 100-mile-hour wind,
Right.
it is 100 miles, but it's really 80 in the front because the rotation of the earth is slowing it down.
The earth rotates faster than 20 miles an hour.
Well, whatever it is, 10 miles an hour. I mean,
Really?
but
I didn't know
that's
that.
why your back winds are always the most dangerous.
Yeah. Did you know that a hurricane can't cross the equator?
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of the
Because
shape?
the rotation that
They're opposite.
literally at the equator, I guess there is no rotation of the air or something because it's at a 90-degree angle to the
Right.
axis.
Yeah.
So they lose their rotation as
That's
they get close.
stuff.
Yeah.
That
Don't
is
run.
wild.
If you look at like the
Don't-
storm path, like I don't think it's
Yeah.
even possible for a hurricane to get past the equator because at the equator rotation stops.
Well, that's true because I mean, you look at where all our hurricanes usually develop are right there off the western coast of Africa,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not at the equator.
Yeah.
How about that?
And I think they can form north.
Is that
or
why they
south of
call
them?
them? But that's not why they call them typhoons and hurricanes, though, right?
That's just a different name.
In different oceans.
Yeah. I mean, different language. That's typhoon. Yeah,
Right.
different ocean.
Yeah.
Like the Pacific Ocean has typhoons.
Yeah.
But does California ever get hit by earthquakes? I mean,
I've seen one.
hurricanes.
I've seen one when it turns.
Hurricane.
Yeah. I mean, remember seeing it on the map.
Okay.
It turned somewhere. It was probably a small one. It probably turned somewhere south of California, went into Southern California.
Okay. But they get earthquakes. I mean, every place has got its own.
Well, we get earthquakes too.
Yeah, little minor ones.
Well, yeah.
You remember that one, the big one, back in I think it was like 2013.
Or is that the mountains?
I'm joking. It
Oh.
knocked over a lawn chair.
Yeah.
Well, people around here would still say that was
we
big.
will rebuild.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, actually, you know what? It's interesting. The Lord had me at the one of the tallest buildings in Raleigh. I went to go visit somebody that is the maintenance guy for that. He called me and said, "Man, I want to show you something." We went up at the very tip top and he was showing me the view, and that's when it hit. You could feel it a little. I was like, "Whoa!" And but I mean, it won't. I don't even think it even hardly registered, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I digress.
Well,
That's
back to
Kenny's
the
shot.
hurricane. It's like going up a hill. You can be going 80 miles, but you're not really going up 80 miles. You're going 60 to get up the hill. I mean, it slows down.
Right.
But when you're going downhill, you can be driving the same speed, but you get home quicker. You know, like the mountains. You get
Right.
there, you get to the mountains. You leave the mountains, you get home quicker than you do going to the mountains.
Really?
Well,
Because of the elevation. Oh, Google it.
it's not technically true. It's you go given the same amount of gas expenditure you would, but you
Would
can always
the time be the same?
the time would be the same. You're going to have to use more gas to go the same
Well, I
speed.
got
going down.
less. I got more downhill. I don't know, man. Y'all got me all kind of torn up.
If you're going down,
I'm still thinking about the ocean and the waves and the wind.
Well, I could
What
draw
if
you.
I'm going from China to California?
Well, I'll tell you about a hurricane. The earth is moving this way.
Okay.
Your winds are always circling this way.
Okay.
So as you're coming through here, that wind is hitting that rotation, so it slows it down. But when this hurricane gets on this side of the rotation of Earth, these winds are going with the Earth.
I
That's
wish,
so
Which
it makes it-
side?
I wish so bad I had
On
this
the,
diagram on video.
Pacific?
No, on the right side. No, on the
No,
left
you didn't
side.
hold it up.
Meteorologist Kenny over here.
No, it's just
I'm just fascinated by this. I really am. I'm just kind of. So if I'm sailing from China to California, I go faster.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about a hurricane. How
Oh,
it
I
works.
thought you were talking about boats and stuff.
No,
He
I'm just
switched.
talking about.
He switched.
Yeah, that's what
stories
I said.
again.
Let's
He
go
went
back
from
to the
mountains
hurricane.
to hurricanes. We'll get back to the mountain thing probably about halfway through the show.
But he also, I thought you were also talking about in a boat. We started out as a boat thing, right?
I don't remember that, but
Okay.
Talking about going uphill, you go
Yeah, he talked about uphill, but I thought
uphill. You
we
definitely go
started.
slower.
I thought we started with a boat story, or I know what it was. It was going to New York,
that's not no boat. That's from driving.
but then there wasn't it Hatteras 625 to somewhere else, and that's when it
650 well, I
started.
think he was talking about the hurricane was 650 miles south of.
Yeah, the
Oh, so y'all were on. I thought you were talking about taking a boat from Hatteras 625
No,
miles
I'm
down
just
to
saying people
Florida.
don't know the geography. That's why I don't go to the beach. It can be
Yeah.
sunny, and hurricane out there,
Yeah.
nice weather, nobody there. Usually at Labor Days,
Just choppy.
no, it's glassy.
Yeah. Well, I had been in where it was nothing but glass.
Well, I'm saying what my point is people don't really know their geography. When the Weather Channel says it's 650 miles southeast of Hatteras,
They think it'll be here tomorrow.
and it's coming at Hatteras.
Yeah.
They has, they haven't. The path hasn't been determined yet,
Yeah.
or they haven't predicted the path yet.
Yeah. Well, they've been known to miss the path too. So
Well, they're getting pretty good in 3 days. 3 days out, they're pretty good at that.
yeah.
It's the steering currents, the upper airs
Yeah.
that loves.
Well, y'all want to get started?
Yeah.
Welcome to the other 167, Garrett, Kenny, and Ben.
Are you ready now? We're back. We're back in Fuquay.
I'm away from hurricanes and boats and
Yeah.
trains, planes, trains, and
You got
automobiles.
Chick-fil-A today?
Yeah.
Yeah, your sandwich is in the car.
Yeah, he gave me grief. Where's mine? I said, well, it's in the car. Man,
I was getting ready to go get it, so he had to back off on that.
I've decided I've had to go extreme on my diet because what I was doing was not working. So I have been. You talk about intermittent fasting. I'm only doing one meal a day. I'm
All
sticking
right,
myself. I'm
nice.
being very because I
Man.
can't be trusted to keep the calorie count low unless I limit the
I've just upped the walk.
occurrence.
Well, that was a picture that I sent about when I was trying to climb up. that was the top of the lighthouse.
We got some good pictures.
I couldn't get through the hole. I mean, I had to turn sideways,
You're trying to climb out of
but I got stuck in there.
sea monster's mouth.
Man, you got to put them online
Yeah,
too. That was
that-
some classic.
Maybe I'll make
classic
that the cover
pictures, man.
photo.
That
for
was
this
awesome.
episode. Yeah, there was some good
Man,
stuff
that
on
was
there.
great.
Let me see if I can get this.
No.
Y'all probably didn't get this. I'm trying to find my photos.
Well, while he's doing that, I'm in a competition with my
Oh.
daughter. She is hyper competitive, and I'm not sure where she gets that from, but she's hyper competitive. And she was showing me the other day that her Chick-fil-A points, she had more Chick-fil-A points than me,
Mm-hmm.
and I disagreed, and we had a point off, and I beat her by. I mean, it wasn't even close. She doesn't know.
Yeah,
She doesn't know what I got
Yeah.
going on. Because sometimes, like for the youth, I might buy some nuggets or I might buy some strips, put that on there, and so I'm way ahead of her. But I'm not going to let her catch up either.
Yeah.
I'm not even that big of a fan of. Well, I do like it. It's good chicken.
Yeah. It is
That pretzel sandwich they got, pretzel bun
yeah.
sandwich. Oh, I think it's called a Classic Club.
Mhm.
It's got the pretzel bread.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice now.
That sounds
It's
pretty
nice.
good.
I would recommend it.
Yeah. That's I've not had that one yet. Usually, see Chick-fil-A. It's hard for me to deviate too much from the staples. I'll get
Sandwich
the regular sandwich
or a spicy.
or a spicy
Yeah.
sandwich. That's pretty much it.
But now we'll brag about their Cobb salad too. It's good.
So
So
breakfast, I might mix it up a little bit.
yeah,
I'll do their egg white grill's real good for breakfast, and
those little meanings are nice.
those minis are real good. That's pretty
So
good.
let's see it.
Now press that down. I'm trying to get out. But that's what I was trying.
Struggling a little bit there.
Yeah. So, and it's not much room when you get up there. Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah. Well, we you left us on a cliffhanger last week with Christian karma. I'm curious to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
I imagine by book that there are a lot. I bet there's a lot in Proverbs that would
Yep,
speak
yep.
to Christian karma.
Plenty in Proverbs.
Maybe even a little bit in
the
Ecclesiastes. I would think I could see that. I know
yeah,
Galatians.
Proverbs especially. Proverbs is the one that I really, when I began reading it, was you know what I know. Don't want to apply the same word
Yeah.
because karma carries with it so much in the Hindu / Indian religions that I'd rather just not call it karma as much as it is the principle of reaping and sowing. And that is you reap what you sow. And I think that is the whole principle of, not necessarily Christian karma of, okay, I'm mean to you or I treat you a certain way. Now I'm going to get treated that way. No, it's just that our actions carry consequences. And there is a principle that is reaping and sowing. And so it is, I think Galatians 6 God goes into that. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. You reap what you sow. Proverbs talks about, these actions carry consequences.
Mm.
So if I make foolish decisions, don't be surprised if you don't have to pay a price for a while.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of like we've talked about before. Bad consequences are oftentimes going to follow sinful activities.
Or unwise decisions.
Right. And that's not necessarily because God is punishing you for committing the sin. Sometimes he is,
Mhm.
but a lot of times it's because
lot of
he
times
told you
it's
not to do it
the-
because he knew what the consequence would be.
But it also sometimes is just a natural result of,
Right.
If I eat there every single day.
Yeah.
Okay, that's I know what's going to happen.
Yeah. If I go to bed every night, if I got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, I go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. Me being exhausted at 6 a.m. is a punishment for going to bed late, so
Yeah.
much as it is the consequence
That's a
of
consequence of
not
a
getting enough
very
sleep.
bad decision. And
Right.
So a lot of times these consequences, I'm not ready to call them karma, but it is you reap what you sow.
So to distinguish between the two, I was just sitting here thinking, I mean, God is not to be mocked, or God
Right.
is not mocked. When you think about karma, it seems to kind of contradict grace in one way, but at the same time, could the difference be a repentant heart versus an unrepentant heart? Because if you are unrepentant
Mhm.
and you continue to live in rebellion against God and just can stay at it, and continue to mock and ignore his power,
Right.
then you can call it karma if you want to, but I mean, there is a, a bad consequence to that, ultimately an eternal consequence to it. And in the earthly sense too, there are going to be consequences
Right.
to it, where if you do turn away, I don't know if you want to say it quite this simply, but you might get your karma if you stay unrepentant. But if you're repentant, I don't think there's as much of whatever you want to call it, because he does give you grace. But that being
I
said,
think
there
in
are still
yeah, there's still going to be
there's still gonna be
consequences.
consequences. If you kill somebody and you're convicted, that's gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna pay the price for that one. And
And I think ultimately, even if you're not convicted, you're gonna pay. You're gonna
Yeah.
answer
Yeah.
to someone,
Yeah.
or something. So I don't know. I just have always. I know karma's kind of considered a, oh, we don't want to say that. At the same
Yeah.
time, I've always struggled with, well, how do you define that as far as what the scriptures teach? Because yeah, I'm not going into saying it's karma, but there is a principle that's
Yeah.
there that's
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
Then I don't know that I don't like I said where it gets it where karma gets its origins or where it's derived from, but ours comes from the justice of God and the holiness of God and the standard of righteousness that He has. That all right, if you go against this standard, it's going to come back.
Yeah. Well, the justice of God is what required Jesus to come. Somebody had to he couldn't just ignore the sin. He couldn't just turn a blind eye to it because that goes against his righteousness.
Right, and
So he
His
had to
holiness.
send
Right.
Jesus to
Yeah,
I hate to say level the scales, but that's kind of
that's the only way it could.
even out the ledger, right?
Mhm.
That's one of the things I always struggle with, Kenny, with accounting. I could never figure out the debits and credits and how to even out the ledger and all that kind of stuff.
Doors and
But
curtains.
Being framing.
That's
Yeah.
right. Doors and curtains.
All right.
Debits, credits.
Yeah.
That's why I had to take accounting 3 times. But
Ben can help you.
so
Everything's a deduction till you get audited. And
that
I
was
was
that was a
talking
fun
about
conversation
very
tonight.
wise audit
Yeah.
accountant one
Yeah.
time.
I enjoyed that conversation with Brandon the other night. Shout out, man. That was everything's a
Yes, shout out,
deduction until you
Brandon.
get audited.
Yes. Still think he needs to get the bass boat. And,
Right.
yeah. So it is one of, and I think you also see, I think from time to time, you may even see a touch of what we're talking about in the Psalms. I know, I believe it's Psalm 74. You see David lamenting, or it may not even be David that wrote that, but you see someone crying out, and it may not be 74. Quote me on that, but you see throughout the Psalms, you see, why do the wicked prosper? Why is it that they seem to always get ahead? And then, but what happens at the end of every last one of them is, no, God's going to take care of that.
Yeah.
And so there is kind of a wickedness does not prosper, that kind of thing. And so and maybe what we should think of it as is, I think karma is good for good, bad for bad.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe what I'm getting at is more of bad for bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's by grace anyway that I'm gonna get anything good.
Mm-hmm.
But my actions will carry consequences. Now, sometimes God, sometimes miraculously or whatever, may not, but you're still gonna be the consequences of a guilty conscience, consequences of this. So I don't know. I just threw it out there for us to discuss.
Well, like
Make a
consequences
discussion
for others too. I mean, a lot of
Sure.
times our bad is going to have a negative impact on others, and God forgives us. They may not, and even if they do, there may be
Or
something that
may
they
hurt them to the point of they can't get past something.
right,
Yeah.
right, yeah. So your grace doesn't always absolve the consequences.
Right.
I think that's one of the things that can be a little tough to deal with sometimes. Once you do repent, is that you kind of think there's a small part of you that kind of feels like, why am I still having to deal with the consequences of this? If God forgives, you got to remind yourself that those consequences still
Mhm.
linger.
We live in a real world.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
It's the ripple effect. You throw a pebble in the pond, it just keeps moving out, and that's kind of what. And that's something to consider whenever we're making decisions. Is, I mean, I think this is a big deal, but man, by the time that thing starts to impact, and it can.
Well, and think about it like this too. When you have, there are situations and there are times that God can take the consequences away. He's done that plenty of times in my
Sure.
life where things could have been a whole lot worse than they really were.
Indeed.
And that's grace. But at the same time, as I said before, grace is not distributed evenly. And sometimes when you look at, well, why did this person not suffer the consequences for this, but I did? Why did then you can start to get a little, jealous or envious that somebody else got more grace than you because they.
Or what? Yeah, yeah. Especially, and that's really, I mean, when you look at those Psalms I'm talking about, that's really what's going on, man. He is really struggling. The evil just seem to get everything. Then there doesn't seem to be any repercussions for anything they're doing.
Yeah. The other question Kenny kind of teed up last week. I think we
Here we
can
go,
get.
Kenny. You got your ass one.
Yeah. I'm
What is he writing
I
over
don't
here? He's
know.
written half a book over here.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
can
just,
sign
I,
somebody's
just, read-
birthday
I,
card.
just, I was just writing something I was going to say about the impact of others, but
Do we
this
need to
one,
pause for a minute for you to
No,
finish
we're
writing?
ready.
no,
We're ready now.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm just saying that.
Time's up. You got to turn in your answer now.
I mean,
Pencils down.
you see in the life of Samson.
yeah.
He lost his eyes. He never got those back. You see it in somebody that,
How about David
David.
when he does the census?
What about,
That hurt a lot of folks.
what about Moses? Because of his not following exactly what God said.
Yep.
He didn't enter in the.
Well, that's personal. We're talking
Yeah.
about it impacting others.
Well, I think everything we do is going to impact others.
Sure.
Good-
Around
good
the
and
way.
bad.
I mean, think about the rebellion of the children at Kadesh Barnea when they went with the 10 spies instead of the 2. That cost Jacob, Joshua, and Caleb 40 good years of their life that they got to walk around in the desert while knowing that they were obedient and saying, no, we operated in faith and these other clowns didn't. So now I got 40 years of living out here. I know I would have been, there have been some mornings I'd have woke up and it's hot and we're having to get manna instead of I'm getting to go out into my own vineyard. I think I would be mad, but I'm thankful that Joshua and Caleb, you never see that.
Well, you think about the person that pulled up in front of me as I was coming here. And slowed down.
Well, you done pull that in.
Yeah, I'm just saying everything. It caused me to be late.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I'm just because they pulled out and they were going 30 miles an hour for about 5 miles in double lane.
I don't know what we talk about more on this show: Ben swimming or people cutting you off.
No, I'm just saying this. It was right at my house. Bam.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing? Everybody else is going 55, 65. Here I'm going 30 with you. And
Yep.
she finally turned off. Or he, I don't know.
But they pulled out like they were in a hurry.
No, they pulled right in front of me.
Right.
I mean,
Like
I
they
had- I
like
had
they
to
got
hit my
somewhere they
brakes.
got to go
Yeah,
fast.
Yeah. Well, obviously they're just not.
No, that's what gets me, boy. They pull out like the
Yeah.
britches are on fire and then they go slow.
Then they don't go speeding limit.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. What's wrong with you?
So that's, I mean, like you say, everything, I think everything we do, I won't go as far as that, but I think most of the things we do has consequences on other people.
Well, I would say, I mean,
On ourselves, on
I
our
was,
walk,
I was late because of that.
I would say almost, submit for your consideration type thing. I would say that everything you do has a consequence. Some of them are positive consequences.
right?
That's one of my pet peeves about the English language is we always take the word consequence as a negative.
Because of the
Word,
word con.
the way
starts
we
with
use it.
con.
Yeah, but consequence just means something that happens as a result of something else happening.
Yeah.
At the same time, consequence of my new 1 meal a day diet is probably going to be that I'm going to weigh less in a few weeks. I mean,
And
there
maybe
are
we should
good
say results.
results. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but
That
what's
don't-
the, I
that
mean, I'm
don't
not
have
an
this-
English.
That doesn't have the same negative connotation.
Or then, I mean, I'm not an English major, but is consequence and result not basically the same thing?
They are. It's just consequences sounds.
It sounds
better.
wor-
Yeah, we put consequences as
We only think of consequence as in punishment,
That's a negative.
but consequence and punishment are not the same thing. Consequence and result are.
Yep.
So everything that we do, good or bad, carries a consequence to it. And if you do enough good things, good things are probably going to end up following you there. Is that karma? No, that's just
right.
So when God in the word says doing good, you reap what you sow, that good things are going to happen if you do good things. It's not even necessarily, I don't want to say it like it's not a reward, but it is kind of, you follow his rule, good things will happen. That's why he made that the rule, because he knew that was going to lead to good consequences or good results.
You're right. Consequence is not negative.
Yeah.
Which is a synonym of results.
Well, here we go.
Is it?
It just says a result or effect of an action or condition. Doesn't
There you
say negative or positive.
Yep.
So I think it's just it sounds bad.
It sounds bad. Yeah.
That word con already. Whoop,
Yeah.
I'm on alert
Oh.
when you say the word con. Other than confidence, I like that one maybe, but conflict, that's a bad word.
Connect.
See, I think the word con, if I said I'm not an English major, and I'm definitely not a Latin man. I think it
But
comes
pro and con would be against. I think it's
Yeah.
that as soon as you hear that, it's already a negative.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know where that con comes from though, but I
No,
know I
it's
think the
not
word
that.
con comes. If I'm really gonna look like a fool, I'm wrong. I think it comes
We're
from
gonna-
Latin
it's-
that means with,
Yeah, it does.
right?
With.
Because I think that's in Spanish, like
That's it.
con, it like
Well,
ACP.
Yeah, it's con, or
something
anytime I
con
wear
pollo.
something that has con in it, it means
It means
with.
with. Yeah.
Connect.
Connect.
Yeah.
Connect 4. Connect Quattro.
Yeah. So consequence just means with the sequence.
Yeah.
Of
What is the next step of that?
of the
That's it.
yeah. That's where
Look
it
at
comes.
us. We can take that
There you go.
SAT today.
We really could probably.
Yeah.
We can take it today. I don't know what we.
Yeah.
I don't know what we
Take
make
it.
on
I
it.
can take it.
We can definitely take it. So you brought up last week, can Christians still live in sin?
That was a Kenny question.
That was a Kenny question
Yeah.
from last
Can we?
week.
No, I'm
That was your question?
for the answer.
I do the questions. Y'all do the answers.
That's my job. I do the questions.
Well, I think
They can't live it to their full potential.
well, that's for sure. But I think first we need to just get the obvious out of the way is, will Christians sin? Absolutely.
Yeah.
All the time.
Even those who have been redeemed, those who have been saved, even those who have been saved for 50 plus years, they are still going to fall short, and we're still going to have our times that whether it's an attitude, an action. Now, I've always made the argument that Christians, when you're born again and Christ is working in you, you will not be sinless, but you will sin less. And there's a big difference. Sin less means I don't have any. Sin less means I don't do it as much. Now, the question
Is that 2 words?
No,
That second word?
yes,
Okay.
that's why I say less.
Sinless is one word.
Yeah, sinless,
I'm
sinless
just saying
It's
it's
the
the same
space
word
versus
twice.
sin,
Yeah.
It's the
Less.
space in between. That's what's important.
How big is the space?
at least double.
We're gonna be diagramming sentences
Yeah.
before this hour's up.
Yeah, please, let's do it. But the question is, so I guess the way I'd ask is, so how much is sin less or sinless, or what would be the magic number? And yes, Christians can be in sin. It should be that their conscience is really bothering them. It should be that they are
If they know
something
about
ain't
it.
right. Something, and you're right. They will not be walking in the fullness of joy. They will not be living the abundant life that Christ has for them. Because if you want to know something that's going to interfere with your relationship, sin is one. I mean, Psalm 66:18. If I regard iniquity in my heart, Christ will not hear me. That's what I'm praying. Though your sins be as scarlet and they separate you, Christ forgives, though it makes us white as snow. But it's still, the picture there is, anytime that you have sin in your life, it's going to hurt that fellowship that you have with Christ.
If you know about it.
If you're saved.
Well, if you know about it. I mean, I just remember one girl giving her testimony. She said every word in the book, every cuss word in the book.
Okay.
But that was how she just got saved. But that's how she explained herself. I don't think that was a sin to her,
Right.
but it would be to me because I knew better. Now, later on, she cleaned up her language.
Right.
That's why I was talking about.
But I would call
And
that more of maturation than necessarily living in sin, because you think about it. I mean, things we used to do, or little, maybe even little attitudes, Kenny, that we used to have, or things that used to make us mad, and we get all upset. I mean, I used to get all upset about a ball. If that ball didn't bounce the right way, boy, I'd be mad. If State didn't win, I'd be
Well,
upset.
I'm glad you got over that because State ain't winning.
Fair. Fair. I guess
thankful
you
for that.
lose enough. You lose enough,
Yeah.
and you'll
Yeah.
get used to it, I guess.
Yeah.
But it does.
Yeah.
I mean, I refuse to let. As much as I love watching sports, I'm gonna try my best to refuse to let something that I have no control over. I mean, I really have no control over whether that boy makes that shot or not. I may think I do because I'm sitting in my lucky chair with my lucky shirt and I'm eating my lucky meal and nobody's allowed to touch this, that, and the
Well,
other.
how's that working for you?
Well, there you are.
I mean,
I got no
simple.
championships
Yeah,
that I've
yeah.
I can't. The only team I used to have to brag about was the Yankees, and I don't know that they're even gonna make they're in the wild card, but they ain't won the World Series in years.
They haven't. Yeah.
So but I refuse to let. Now I may be upset, man. I hate we lost. Now I got, and you know what upsets me more than anything else? Having to listen to all them Tar Heel fans,
I hear you.
I
but
don't
they
say
ain't
that.
got nothing to brag about either.
No,
I
they don't.
don't say nothing.
No.
So we just
Yeah.
keep it on the low for everybody
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that does make it the worst.
Well,
is
what
having that.
about now? What about the sins that you know of that you're still doing?
I think therein lies part of the. I mean, I think that's the big question. I mean, that's really what you got to ask.
Well, I think there's even a subcategory of that though, because I think that there are sins that you are committing that you're unaware of. I've definitely
Omission and commission, so to speak.
well, there's so you got three categories maybe is what I'm getting at. You've got some things that I think there were definitely some things that I didn't realize were sins until God pointed them out to me, and some of those happened 6 months,
Right.
some happened 2 years later, some happened 5 years later. There's certain things that when you're young and immature you just don't realize are sins until you really study the word and you mature in your faith a little bit. Then there are sins that you are aware of, as I was talking about last week, ones that you're aware of and trying to work on.
Right.
Worry. Is that a
Sure.
sin? Yes.
Yeah.
Can we make ourselves stop worrying no matter how hard we try? No, we're going to worry. I mean, that's just how we are. We're hopefully going to worry less the
Yeah.
closer we walk with God, but we're still going to
and
worry.
use the tools that you've been given.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the scriptures, and I think that's you're exactly right.
Yeah, and that's one. There's a ton of examples of those that are you can try to work on them and you will get better at them, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect at them.
Right.
And then you've obviously got the ones that are sins that you are aware of and they were in your control and you still
And you don't
willfully
care.
and intentionally commit them. Well, those are
That's the one that, and I'm not saying it's the question was, can you? I think you can, but I think there should be some. I mean, that's the one that really for me is that's the tough one.
Well, this
It's almost if you saw the stop sign, but I'm gonna keep running it.
right. You're aware of it,
Mhm.
but you're still doing it.
Yep.
That's what
Kind
question.
of like I keep speeding.
To a point that to the point that you don't feel bad about it.
Yeah. Or you don't.
Consciousness makes it.
You've told yourself that, and
It's not,
I'm good.
it ain't in the Bible
Yeah.
or something like that.
Or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But that's what I'm talking about.
So I guess
Not that you're committing these sins. Everybody makes mistakes, but you're indulging in them, and been it's wrong. You've been taught it's wrong, but you're still doing it,
Yeah.
and you are claiming you are a Christian. Now, I'm not the God didn't give me the gift on who is and who
That's
isn't.
right.
But I'm saying that, there's nothing wrong with it, but yet it's flat in the Bible. That's kind of where that's the situation I'm talking about. Not that I have a situation on
Right,
my
no.
mind, but I'm talking about
I get it.
somebody that has been in church all their life. Let's just say somebody's been in church all their life, and they're doing things that have been preached again.
Yeah, and they know
And
it.
it could be immorality type sins. Now I know we think that is
The
that's
worst.
the worst, but
Yeah.
any sin's the worst.
That's it. Well, and I think that's the thing is
We
let's
just
not.
we all know how holy God is.
Although to some degree, Paul does kind of put some sin on a different scale as
Well, it
another.
affects, it does affect
Because
your
of it
relationship.
affects you or whoever
Yep.
it does. But at the same time, sin is sin. So
Mhm.
let's not go too far on that.
And so I have to look at myself. I'm not making this point to say that my sins are not as bad as someone else's,
Yeah.
but mine don't affect someone else like some other sins. Yeah. I mean, Christians talk about other Christians all the time. Well, that's that and do it religiously. Well, that is a big sin, but it don't affect their. I don't know how I should say it. It's almost like your conscience don't convict you on talking about somebody else as as it does as you killing somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm kind of talking
Yeah.
about.
Well, I think it is. I think you get kind of used to it.
Well, I think we had been in it so long. We're just human. I mean, we've talked about other people, and it doesn't just between you and I. We've talked about Garrett, before he gets here, and
That's right.
and I agree with you on that. No,
I probably do too.
no, but then let's talking about that type of sin we're okay with.
Right. Well,
But God is
we call
so
that a small.
then that's what and we say that that's all right. We think in our mind, but we're really lying to ourselves. Because all sin, I don't know if one's telling a white lie versus, any other sin, if there's any difference in God's eyes. Paul says in Romans that you broke one part of it, you just broke it all.
Right.
And there's a lot of stuff you break.
Sure.
If you just the Bible tells you not to talk about people, well then the Bible says you're not supposed to murder. Well, if you talk about people, then you just broke everything.
Well,
You're guilty of all.
how are we when you ask that question? Again, I'm back to English class, but when you say, "Can you do X and still be and be a Christian?" I got to kind of ask what's the meaning of that word "can"? If you're saying, "Can you do it and go to heaven?" Are you saying, "Can you do it if you truly are a Christian? Are you capable of still doing it? Is it should you do it and be a Christian?" One of the best ways I've heard it, when somebody asked one time, "Can I do this and still, can I be a Christian and still do this, or can I do
Right.
this and still be a Christian?" And the pastor's response to it was the question isn't "Can you?" It's "Should you?" And
That's
so there's
it. That's
there's
the
that
whole-
way of looking at it. Okay, if I'm a Christian, should I do X? No, I shouldn't.
Mhm.
If I'm a Christian, can I still sin? Well, am I asking that for permission? Like, hey, I'm a Christian, but do I still have permission to do this, even though it's a sin? Is it too big of a sin if I do it this way? Well, that's the wrong question. Now, if you're saying, is it still possible for you to? Can you be a Christian and still make mistakes? Well, then emphatically, yes.
Mhm.
Is it
Well, I guess it's intent. Where we all sin, but I mean you intentionally do it. And you're also
knowing that it's a sin? In your heart, you know that it's a sin,
but you intentionally
and you intentionally do it. And does that mean you're
so it's not
not a
hard.
Christian?
It's not a what you're doing, it's a hard issue now.
Yeah, I think he's getting to the as far as would a Christian continue to do that? Because again, all right, take the "can you" versus okay, should I or would I? Would a Christian continue to sin like that? Shouldn't there be a something, red flags, stop signs, things like that that says, you know what, got to quit doing this,
Yeah. Well, I think also it's
or this ain't right.
yeah. Well, when especially newer Christians but I think even seasoned Christians are going to end up falling into this trap sometimes of ranking sin a little bit.
That we do it all.
And
Sure.
I'll be honest with you, I was not even aware that gluttony was a sin 5 years ago. I mean, I think I'd heard somebody when somebody said the 7 deadly sins or whatever
Right,
that is. I heard that. I was like, "What is
Sins
gluttony?"
God hates.
Yeah, I had to look it up. What is gluttony? I don't even, and I do that all the time. Or did I
I know.
it's the weirdest thing. It was like
Believe me.
Thanksgiving last year was the first time I even thought about gluttony. It's like, oh yeah, we're not supposed to do that.
Well,
And not only is it like it's not just a minor one, it's in like it's a serious one. It's usually one of the ones that are listed, as a big one.
yeah, Proverbs has plenty of things to say about a gluttonous man and
Right. But we sure don't
how dangerous it is and what we should do and do.
Does
not
he
do.
say the 7 deadly sins, or it's just
But it's the 7 sins God hates.
hates? Yes.
yeah.
That's
Deadly-
where it became 7 deadly sins.
The 7 deadly sins is
was
not
much
actually
added
verbatim.
was added much later, not in scriptures.
No, but
by
I
the
think
church.
was that added by a Catholic priest or
That's it.
something one
Exactly.
time,
But it is the 7 things God hates.
but the people who take that as 7 things God hates. God hates it all. He's just saying
Sure.
7 of them. That's
Yeah,
how I.
that if you look, that kind of encapsulates a ton of
Yeah.
just about everything.
Yeah.
Especially pride. I mean,
Mhm.
pride's going to capture a lot of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Prideful look.
But I think you can look at there are going to be some things that I don't know if it's just the Holy Spirit works a little bit works on. I remember telling you one time when we first started doing this thing that I was surprised at the things God had been cleaning up. Like he was working on some things I didn't think were that big of a deal,
Yeah.
and then some of the things I thought were going to be a big deal, he hadn't really tried to touch. And you said, well, he'll get back
Yeah.
to them, and he did a lot of them.
Small things.
Yeah, but
I mean,
some of the things that I thought were small,
Yeah.
I didn't realize how big of a problem my pride was. I didn't even realize how big of a problem pride was, much less how big of a problem mine was.
Yep.
And then that was the by far like number one with blinking neon lights that he
Yeah.
seemed to just drill on me for about 2 years. Okay, so in the process of that, were there some others that he didn't shine as much of a light on right away that maybe took me? I mean, gluttony's one of them. Gluttony's one that even though I'm still trying to fight the weight thing, I do try to not
I'm not trying to
push
overeat.
myself to the point
That's
that I
right.
can't move. And because it's one of those
Been
things
there.
again, consequences. After you think about
hurts.
it being a sin, after I've eaten so much, it's like, man, this is why he tells you not to do
Yeah,
that.
it hurts.
That don't feel
Well,
good.
I think this, if we really knew how evil we were,
Mm-hmm.
it would blow our minds out. If we were able to just change all at one time, it'd probably kill us. We just don't know how evil we are.
Yeah.
We just don't know how far apart we were from God.
And
And our minds probably still are.
and the flip side of that coin, we just don't know how holy God is.
Yes. Well, I mean, yeah, hand in hand. Yes. It's just like, just a tiny, just a thought is so far away from a holy God.
Right.
Yeah. Evil thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. More or less, but when you commit it, we think, oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
But it's your thought process. Our thought process is so far out of whack.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's why we get it when we perform the act, but for some reason we can't get it when we just passing thought.
Yeah.
I'm not
And-
saying a
and-
passing thought. I mean, I don't want to say passing thought is a sin.
Right.
But it can be.
But that's
Definitely
where it
can be.
starts.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so important to know all the other scriptures that deal with what you do with your mind.
Mhm.
And if you've
That's
been
what
born
we're talking
again,
about 12:1 and 2.
yes, if you've been born again, you've been given the mind of Christ. Set your mind on the things that are above. How can a young man keep his way pure? By hiding God's word in his heart and in his mind. I mean, that's the key. That when that thought begins, because that's exactly how sin begins in the book of James. It begins with that thought or that intent that is the wrong motive or the wrong thing. And boy, our minds get locked in on it that, ooh, I want it. I got to have it.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't take my mind off of it. Boom.
Yeah.
And instead of saying, okay, that's not the best for me.
Yeah.
God has something better for me. And that something better is Christ himself.
And then Jesus says in Matthew 5:43, be ye therefore perfect as your Father.
Yeah. Be holy as I am holy.
That's
First
almost,
Peter.
it's almost like,
Deuteronomy. It's all throughout.
and then he says, somebody asked him, good teacher or whatever. I'm not sure. That might be in 2 or 3 places. And Jesus said, the only good person.
Yeah. Why you call me good?
Yeah. And that's, to me, I never really got that, but I'm starting to get what he was talking about.
There's a couple of things going on with that particular passage. Yeah.
Because I always thought, well, Jesus is not good. Yeah,
Well,
but that's not what he's talking about.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know that's Jesus saying, you do understand what you just said.
Yeah.
And so I want you to know, you just said what you said. You're right, but I want you to understand.
Yeah.
If you're calling me good, that's because you're recognizing that I'm on par with the Father.
Yeah. I think one of the things that we have to be careful of on that, I mean, if we're asking this question internally, is this a sin? Should I be doing this? That's a very important and a good question to be asking. I think one of the things that we can slip into real quick on that is looking at other people and saying I can still see pride in this person. They must not be a Christian. That's what I'm really guilty of, because God's beat me upside the head with pride so bad. If I see somebody else acting prideful at all, I'm thinking they must not be a Christian.
Yeah, look at
Because in my mind, you couldn't
They're so
do both at
bad.
the same time and not know better, because he beat me upside the head like crazy. But God might be working on a different area of them, and he'll get to the pride later. Just like he worked with me on pride first, and we'll get to the other stuff later. So sometimes you got to be careful with that, I think, when you're looking at others, Because if you're asking the question, that's why I say, why are you at? How do you mean that word? Can you? If you're asking that of, I think if you're asking yourself, can I do this and still be a Christian? You might want to be safe to just quit doing it.
Yeah.
So maybe if you're thinking it, if you're thinking about it, there's a good chance that the Holy Spirit's trying to work that out on you.
But at the same time, there are maybe family, friends, folks that we know that you wonder, and I'm sure that's
Yes,
that's the question. Is, but I think you're exactly right. For myself in my own life,
Yeah.
I got a kid. If I got to ask that,
Then the answer is
maybe
no.
the best
There are
thing to
good
do
chances
is
no.
if it's that much question to it,
Yeah.
leave it be.
Yeah.
because really, really, and mostly the world, they think they're good people. Everybody else is wrong. I was listening to an interview maybe a couple of weeks ago. This guy was a contract killer, and he murdered people. I don't know how many, but there's a lot of them. And somebody asked him, he said, I don't know what exactly they asked him, but he said, "Yeah, I'm a good person." I'm thinking, well, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
So we're all blinded
Well, that
to
was just his job.
ourselves. Yeah, that was just a job. I'm a Christian hitman. Didn't you know that?
Yeah, I'm just a
Yeah.
job. That was just a job, man.
Yeah.
When I'm
Yeah,
off the
this is-
clock, I'm the nicest guy in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
And we're like that too. That we all think of ourselves as I do. Everybody that I know really thinks they're a good person
Well, and
until you realize you're not.
and we compare ourselves with other people.
Yes,
It's easy to find somebody worse than me.
That one.
Yeah.
It's easy to find somebody worse than me, man.
I don't do a lot of testimonies anymore because it's almost like somebody's comparing. Well, I'm not as bad as that person. I'm pretty good. Yeah. And I don't want people to get that, start thinking that way. But we do. We always compare ourselves. Well, I'm not as bad as that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That or go the other way of I'm just so much better than that person.
Yeah.
I see that oftentimes that we can have a lot of pride in our lives, and not just sin. Just I'm better than that person.
Why can't they be as humble as I am?
Yeah.
Kind of
Well,
thing.
it's, I have
I
my.
dig that.
I have my. I do have my faults, but I'm not as bad as he is.
That's right.
That's right.
I really
That's
not.
right. And I think it's one of we always
myself.
want to, and we can. It's not hard. Find somebody better than yourself, and you're gonna feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I mean, what's the first thing you do when you were in high school and you bombed that test? You made a 60 on it. Well, at least he made a 50.
Yeah.
That guy made a 40.
We're
So
always
I'm
doing
not
the
as dumb as they
comparison.
are.
So,
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is Christianity doesn't always have to be a comparison. The only thing you really need to compare yourself to, and this is where you're going to feel really low, and it should knock out all pride, is compare yourself to the standard. The standard is Christ.
but we don't. But that's
No.
the thing. We don't.
No,
Yeah.
standard
always
is that
comparing
guy
it.
over there
Yeah. Or
for
can't,
most.
I can't
And
believe
it's the
you
wrong
just said
standard.
that. Yeah, I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that type of thing.
It's the incorrect standard we use rather than
Yeah.
your measuring stick is Christ.
My standard is I'm using my standard on you, and instead of using God's standard on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think for me, I've got enough problems to worry about somebody else. I got enough problems to be talking about somebody else.
Yeah.
And we all do.
Yeah. Should.
It's just sometimes it's hard to think about that just right off the top of your head. Yeah, it just happens. Oh yeah, it's just a thought that just comes right through.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Instead of, except for the grace of God, go out.
so you got a scripture for me?
No.
No, I thought you were trying to.
No, I'm just
Okay.
looking at passage that I'm going to have Sunday.
And what is that?
John 2, 1 through 10. 1 through 11. Finally.
How many times are you going to preach that?
As far as John 1,
Yeah, I mean, I
only
went
had
here.
I only had 4 sermons out of there.
Well, you're making 20.
No, it was 4.
Are you
4
learning about
out
Alvarez?
of the first 18 verses. And then we had a communion in the middle. So that's why it seems like we've been there forever.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I love it. I love it. Give it to me. But John 2:1-10 is only going to be this week, I promise.
I would like to be able to talk about one scripture for a whole sermon.
Hmm?
I would like to talk about one scripture for a whole sermon. I would like to hear people do that. I mean, I like people to talk about
Like
one
one verse.
Yeah, one verse. Yeah, did I say one scripture? Yeah, one verse.
Well, it has to be a particular verse, and it has to be something. I mean, usually you got to take a look at the context around it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but now we did pretty.
But you're getting close.
Yeah. That was
You what? 3 verses?
that was the
now?
quickest outline ever. Though I only had to
John
fill in one
1:14. Yeah, one line.
one word, and you got to it pretty early.
Capitalized, LORD.
yeah.
So now all you got to do is take notes.
So you
I didn't know that though. That there were. I knew that there was capitalized Lord and non-capitalized
Yeah,
Lord, but I never
right.
paid attention. So
in the Old Testament.
I got ADD real quick there when you said it. And I started thumbing back through trying to find
Well,
it.
and that's what I was afraid of, because I know I've got 2 or 3 guys that, in particular,
Well, it didn't
I
take
know,
long because the
Matt,
first.
shout out, he's bad about it. If I give a scripture reference to the Old Testament, it's he tells me,
gone.
I'm done.
Yeah.
He's because I'm gonna be. Let me
Yeah.
see what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So I hesitate sometimes to even say it
Yeah. Well,
or put it up on the screen so you don't have to look for it.
Well, how many you've been on John 1 through what now?
1-18.
Okay, so you got 14 more sermons to work out on that.
Well, if we're
One
going verse by
scripture
verse, that
verse-
would have been.
One sermon.
I mean, there's enough there. There's some deep.
Oh yeah,
there's some deep waters.
You can John 1. You can really
Yep.
go. Yeah.
Now, this would be a quick thing, but me and the kids were talking about this the other night, and one of them brought up heaven and what's heaven like. And I was telling them, I don't think there's a whole lot that I can recall in the Bible about the permanent new heaven and new earth. There's a lot in the
There's a
decent
little, but
amount
not
of the
not
millennial
huge amount.
kingdom, right?
Not well, even that. I don't.
There's not a
think there's-
ton, even that. But
Uh,
even the millennial kingdom sounds pretty cool. But one of the things that Gabe was saying, he always thought of heaven as like you're floating around in clouds, and he pictures God as like a little blue spirit, like a little blue ball spirit type thing.
Mhm.
Is what he was saying when he was younger. That's how you used to always think of him. And I said, based on what I do know, there's not a whole lot in there.
right.
But I was kind of the same thing. We're going to float up to heaven one day and live in the clouds for eternity. But if you read the scriptures, it doesn't sound that way at all.
No.
It's we have we have the second coming in the millennial kingdom,
Right.
and then after the millennial kingdom, Satan's destroyed.
Right.
And I guess this came up last week. 'Cause I think we're supposed to have another rapture last week, Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. And
We were.
some people were talking about
But I
that.
had
and-
some folks sending me one of you ain't checked out yet, have you?
yeah,
Just joking.
yeah. Gabe was.
Yeah, I'm floating in the sky.
yeah.
Well, I think the main thing about heaven for me is just because God's going to be there.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it.
But if
You're
you,
going to do one thing.
But I mean, as far as what we're going to be doing for eternity,
Yeah,
I think
just in the
we're
presence
going
of
we're
God.
going to be serving. I think
Yeah.
we're going to have jobs. We're going to be praising. We're going to be living. There's houses. I'm going to prepare a place for you. That's actually translated as houses or homes. I think there's going to be all kinds of different
Oh
things
yeah,
that we'll do.
they'll be active.
And we will have bodies.
But
But
it's-
it's like won't be preaching.
I know. I was gonna
won't
say,
need to
what-
do
what
it.
are you qualified to do?
I hope I'm gonna be a singer in the
Mhm.
afterworld, because I
Well, we
got.
need to work on that now.
And the reason I say that is I got zero talent here. I think I think that's one of the gifts I get when I get there.
We need to work.
Yes, because
I do
hey,
too.
because you know what? When we get to heaven, there ain't gonna be no. They're gonna be preachers there, but there gonna be no preachers preaching because you don't need to. My role will not be in heaven. You know that?
Yeah.
Why? And why is
You'd be
that?
unemployed
And why is that?
because the gospel's the books are closed. Gospel.
Well, that and we
be-
shall know him as he is,
yeah,
with full knowledge.
yeah.
And that's part of this life we're talking about here on earth is we're growing in the grace and knowledge of Jesus Christ. But one day I will know him as he is, or we see through a mirror dimly now, but then one day face to face.
Well,
So look forward to that. So to me, that's what the
But
good
you
news
have a
of
lot of
heaven
work
is.
here, don't you?
Sure. God's
Yeah, so
God's
you're
growing
doing
us that
probably
way.
enough work. Get you through eternity.
Yep. So like I said, I don't know what I'll be doing. So I'm looking at a new job when I get there, or
But
a new
it's-
role.
but
Have
it
you
says we
tried,
will.
meteorologist.
I'm hoping there's some
Technology.
grass to cut. I bet the weather's nice, But I mean, I don't know what all we're gonna have to do.
Maybe a quick course on hurricanes.
But I'm sure that it has to do with worshiping, serving, praising the Lord. I like I said, I think it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful. I know it's going to be a beautiful place. It's just, we're not going to be little angels with wings floating around playing a harp.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things too that I always kind of wince when I hear people say, "Oh, he's got his wings. He's up there flying around." I'm not so sure we get angels' wings. In fact, I know for a fact we don't.
I think that heaven is, it's not this one little city up in the sky or one little place. I think that heaven is probably might be bigger than this whole universe.
Well, doesn't it say though that
What about the new heaven and new?
that is well? That's what I'm bringing up.
It gives the dimensions of like a big city.
But that's going to descend from heaven
Yeah.
to Jerusalem on the new earth. But the Bible calls it a new heaven and new earth, and we will inherit the earth. It doesn't say we live in spend eternity in heaven. It says we inherit the new earth, right? Okay. So to me, I think it was like Earth 2.0.
Right.
I was telling Gabe this the other day, and we were on a walk, kind of looking. I said, that might sound kind of like, well, what's the big deal? And the earth is pretty amazing if you got rid of all the bad in it. There's just so much bad stuff.
And we have no idea just how good it was
right
in Genesis 1.
Right. But then it makes me, he asked me, then what's the new heaven? Because God's going to be here. What's the new heaven? I said, well, it could just be referring to, there's different versions. Heaven can mean different things. It could just mean new stars and universe and all that stuff.
We just don't have enough detail to really get a handle on it.
And that,
maybe we wouldn't even understand it if we did.
Yep. And I think that's one of those things of, I'm just going to trust the Lord. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Because if he can make goodness on this world, we're going to be all right in one that he recreates.
Well, if you ever had one of those moments, and most people have them at some point or another, whether it's on the beach or wherever, you just thought, man, I could stay here forever.
Sure.
I imagine that it's an eternity of those types of feelings, but it doesn't mean that it's got to be something that I gotta be careful when I say this. It can sound like I'm downplaying heaven. I'm not.
Right.
I'm maybe upplaying the beauty here that we overlook sometimes or take for granted sometimes. But I think that I don't think it's such a far-fetched, way out of left field concept that we're not going to be able to wrap our, like floating around as angels or spirits and all. I think it's a lot more like what we're used to here, but without any of the bad
level.
And with God's presence here.
I don't know. Like Hawaii without sin.
Well, I know John tried to explain it.
Hawaii without sin.
Paul couldn't explain it. Yeah, he was caught in third heaven, so I don't know.
I think the main thing though to go back is that what makes heaven so wonderful is not going to be streets of gold, even though we got it.
Yeah,
it's not the pearly gates, which that explains that, or the onyx and the jasper and all the pearls and jewels. No, it's being face to face with Christ, and I do think it's going to be a beautiful scene, being reunited with loved ones as we sing praises to the King. I think that's going to be, man, I look forward to that day. I think the reuniting, but more importantly, face to face with Christ, because that's what we're gonna be doing for eternity.
No sadness there.
Yeah. Well, what you so you got John 2 this week. You got
John 2
for us to close. I've got to get the kids in 8 minutes, so I got to close it up.
Homework assignments this week.
You got any homework for us?
No.
Yes.
Google on the hurricane movements.
Study up on your meteorology.
Back next week.
I've got with the Earth rotations and the winds
and the wind speeds.
I'm very impressed at that, but I did not know the rotation created wind.
If it doesn't, it slows it down or increases it.
Well, it's got to be wind that's hitting it, though, right?
Well, it's like when you racing.
See, now you're going back to cars, and that's going to throw me off.
I know, but when you're racing, all that wind, you're going the same speed, but it's slowing you
Just
down.
creating drag.
Draft.
Drag.
Is it drag or
now, are we talking about the rotation of the Earth or the jet stream? Because I think what you might have been going at with the mountain
the
thing
movement of the Earth is really what the Earth is going this way. The Earth is going this way. The hurricanes are, it's going
like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wanted you to have this.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I think you really need to Ben. Look, you enjoy this picture. Look at that. I may well keep it.
Yeah, I just give the autograph.
Yeah. No, you might want to like take a picture of that and put it up at the end.
You can make a copy for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's one thing I
And I
want.
signed it personally.
Kenny Lou.
I want to give you a couple minutes before we leave on one line you said Sunday that I chuckled at, and then I quoted you on it, put it in my notes here. You said God isn't a cosmic killjoy.
Right.
You remember that?
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
That was as you were going through and talking about grace and all the different
having
ways
the
we can
right
see
picture of God.
having the right picture of God.
Because
And
John 1:18 says that Jesus has come to, the Greek term is exegete, which means to explain, unfold, to reveal God to us.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I love that line. God isn't a cosmic killjoy, because I think sometimes that's kind of going back full circle to the can I do this and still be a Christian? And we look at it
Right.
like he's trying to take away all of the
He's
fun.
taking away my fun. He's
Yeah.
taking away my rights, my privileges.
Yeah.
I want to go do this. And really think about that. At the very heart of it is, I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's where, again, as I talked about, Christianity is not doing better or trying harder, it's dying more.
Yeah.
But where it's no longer about what I want,
Yeah.
it's about what he wants in me. And if I could get to that place where I know that what he wants in me is so much better than anything I could think or imagine.
Mhm.
Ephesians 3:20, John 10:10, that then I will know the abundant life.
Yeah, I think one thing is, we live in a country of freedom to do what we want to do.
What I want, when I want, how I want.
But that's not freedom. That's bondage. We're now free to do what God wants us to do, and that's freedom.
And what is it that God wants us to do? Using Galatians 5, use your freedom for love and service.
Yes, I mean that's what we're made to do.
And it's almost like use your freedom to be a slave.
I've seen so many people that have made so much money. I mean, just like, wow, they are not happy.
Usually it's electricians, Brandon.
Well, yeah,
Those are ones trying to find bass boats to run
I'm
off.
sure he hears that.
I didn't want to use his name, but and maybe he'll skid this week. but,
Being his accountant, you
Yeah,
could.
yeah,
Being his pastor, I could.
no, but the most
We love you, Brandon.
the most unhappy people, happiest people that I have met. Maybe y'all, I know you run in those rich circles, but for what I
Yeah, that
have,
pastor money.
they're just so
Yes.
self-centered and afraid that you're going to take something away from them.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not saying everybody, but I'm
not
just saying
all,
in general.
But there's a rule of thumb there. And usually it's the ones who don't have anything much that they give you insurance off the back and do anything for you.
I just remember when I first became a Christian, we didn't have anything.
And look
But
at
I
you now.
have, but I ain't have anything to worry about.
You are in rags to riches.
Yeah. It just happened. But once I graduated from college, and you're kind of geared to, well, you got to
You got to go make money.
got to make money. Yeah, that's the success. But success is being happy and content where you are.
Yeah.
Success is obeying
Mhm.
Christ and following
Yeah,
him.
well, that's
Yeah.
that's part. I mean,
Mhm.
that is that what
But
I said is
you're,
part of it.
you're right.
Yeah.
And so I just remember, I didn't have to worry about a thing.
boy,
House
that-
was paid for. Oh, I'm talking about
Yeah.
where I stayed. Electricity is paid for. I had 3 meals a day, and
But
that's the life.
that is ingrained
Yeah,
in
I know.
us that
Yeah.
you've got to get out and go do this, and you got to, man, come on, go to school and make sure you get educated so you can make all this money, so that then do what with it, so you can sit and do nothing. That's really what I mean. You want to work yourself to death so I can sit and do nothing.
Yeah.
Really,
And it comes back to greed.
Yeah.
it
Self-centered.
does. And
And there's no joy in that.
Yep.
At least it's not for me. Now, maybe, I mean, I know you have all the.
I mean, you can have happiness. I mean, look, going out and buying the latest and greatest.
don't
I mean, I'd love to have the latest and greatest suits. I really
I
would.
thought you were wearing one now.
Yeah.
Where you spending all your money
Yeah,
on?
well, now that you said
Oh, yeah, that's right.
now
It's
that you
20
said it,
bars.
it's a tax deduction.
Yeah,
I'm gonna,
You're probably thinking about buying
About
another car.
30% off next time you go
yes,
shopping.
sir. It's tax deduction
Buy
for
out.
my suits. Yeah. Peace out, guys.
See ya.
I think there's as many people in New York City as,
North Carolina?
yes, I think, or as close
Well, I
as
mean,
to be.
I think it was Curtis Blow that said there are 8 million people in the Naked
Yeah.
City. There are 8 million cities. No, how's it go? There are 8 million stories in the Naked City, but then LL came back and said there are 8 million stories, or there are 8 million lies, and they're all made up by you. He wrote a song called "You're a Liar." You're a liar.
What day of the week is that?
Friday.
Friday night,
It's right behind it.
living it up, living it up. Oh yeah, Friday night.
October. You're in, yeah. There you go.
So one starts with O.
OCTOBER.